Hello, friends. Uncle Marv here with another episode of the IT Business Podcast. This is our Wednesday live stream presented by our friends at ThreatLocker. And I know you're sitting there thinking, Marv, I'm not watching this live because I was in Nashville for the GTIA ChannelCon, which I was probably supposed to be at, but it's all right. If you're watching this after the fact, thank you for tuning in. If you are joining us, thank you for joining us here on Wednesday night. Yes, this is the week of ChannelCon. I usually do go to big events like that, but many of you have started to pay attention and realize that I took the summer off of traveling. I have done so much traveling in the last 2 years that I said I had to take a break and focus on some things here at home, as well as my business. And tonight, you're actually going to get a benefit of staying home because we're going to talk about some of the products that I have been using over the last week or so. It's been an interesting, let's see, probably 6 weeks because normally I don't trial products. I don't do any demos. I don't, change my stack that often, but I have done a lot of stack watching this week, actually this past month or so. So I've done 2 trials, tried a new product, and we are going to chat all about that. I do want to give a couple of shout outs. David Sohn from Helped. Because I'm not there at ChannelCon, decided that he would do his own version of swag evaluation. So if you head over to his LinkedIn page, you'll see that he evaluated 9 chapsticks, something that I probably would not do on site because I evaluate all my swag after the fact, but he did. So kudos for that. He gave me a shout out for inspiration. So thank you for doing that. I need to give a shout out to some very special listeners because I sent out an email asking for some assistance with some stuff. I don't need to tell you what that email is about, but I do want to say thank you to Don Sizer, Brian, just forgot his last name. You know him, the guy from California, the tech stoic, and Tom Bull all gave me detailed feedback. Jason Percival also gave me some feedback. So I do appreciate that. Thank you very much, folks. I like when I ask for some help or things of that nature. You guys always step up. That's the way our community has been. And when I say our community, I don't have just one. It started way back with Podnuts and Door to Door Geek, Jeff Hallish, John Dubinsky, Paco LeBron jumped into there, and several other people. And then, of course, we've got all the peer groups that I've been a part of, the ASCII group. And so it's one big community to me. So there's not just, a handful of people. There's a lot of people there. So thank you for all of that. And then tonight, I had a guest that was scheduled, and I had mentioned last week it was going to be a Florida man who is starting up his own MSP, and he's due to launch in September officially. He's going to have a launch party and everything. I might be down there for that. So we were going to talk about starting an MSP in 2025 because everybody's got their thoughts on, if they would restart over, things that they would do differently, things that you would consider in 2025 that you would not have considered in 2005, things to do with AI, things to do with automation, all the tools that are out there. So we're going to get into a little bit of that. He is rescheduled. I believe it's August 27th. So, of course, that left me with a gap here. I threw out a little nugget on MSP Unplugged, the Facebook group, and none other than Jason Miller, the 3-time community champ, stepped up to the plate and is joining me here. Here is the champ. Jason, how are you, sir?
Doing great, doing great. If I knew that was part of the intro, I bought the belt.
So, how does it feel not having that big old TechCon conference where you can defend the title?
I think they just ended the conference because I just kept winning it. I'm not sure. But I actually do kind of miss the full-on TechCon, to be honest.
Yeah.
It's fun to hang out with everybody. So, yeah.
Yep. But I've heard they've been good. So they've had 2 already, and then they're finishing up with a 3rd one in Dallas. That is in September. I will not be making that one either. Sorry, Paco, but we've already chatted about that. Um, so, Jason, I brought you on, and I'm going to ask you to sit patiently there for a little bit because I want to kind of lay out what I did, and I want to lay out why I did it. So, many years ago, when the name Ubiquiti was mentioned, I was probably like a lot of other people where I'm like, Ubiquiti, that seems to be more like a consumer slash prosumer model of equipment. And at the time, I believe it was just switches and Wi-Fi access points. When I did look into them, there was this thing called the cloud key that you had to have in place. And if you lost the cloud key, you couldn't do anything. In fact, and I didn't bring it with me, I had an access point that I got to try out. And I put the cloud key on a computer, and I forget why, but for some reason, I wiped that computer and did something and lost the key and didn't know how to retrieve it. And I thought, well, that's just stupid. So that was kind of where I was in the land of Ubiquiti. Of course, most people would talk about the fact that Ubiquiti did not, have all the enterprise features. I don't even know if it had a full-blown SNMP to where I could use my tools. Back in the day was the Fluke. Now it's NetAlly. I like to be able to plug in and be able to see inside of all the devices, so they have to be managed. Uh, there was not really a support group around that. I don't think Ubiquiti themselves had a real support department. It was something where you had to go online and get help from other people. Um, there were some other things out there. If I talked, to other people, they talked about short product life cycles. They could never get, inventory. And it was just simply viewed as a home, Soho type product. And so I never really looked at it. So why now, you ask? So I had a client who, he's been my client off and on for basically 25 years. He started out as an auto body shop, and he sold that shop and then opened another specialty shop. Then he sold that one, and he's done some other stuff. And every time he does something, he calls me and, Marv, you're my guy. And I'm like, all right. So this time he decided to open up a business. He's going to be the only employee. I gave you a little preview last week. Even though he's the only employee, he bought a building. It's actually two separate structures with a covered space in between, so he can work on cars in the open air. Then he's got a bay in the back. So we're setting up computers in two locations for him. We're doing voice over IP phones. We've got Wi-Fi, one for each building. For those that don't know Florida, we have a lot of concrete construction. So you can put a Wi-Fi access point inside a building, and on 50 feet, the other side of the wall, you may not get signal. So I've got 3 access points, one for each building, and then an outside access point for the space in between. We did 5 cameras. So I did the G6 bullet cameras. So that is what he's got there. And when we first talked about this, I was just going to do my typical stack. I was going to throw in a SonicWall. I was going to throw in an Ingenious switch and some Ruckus access points. But then when he started talking about the cameras, the other cameras that I used either had to be connected to a Synology NAS, which is not a big deal, but not cheap, or the Lumu product. And if you don't know that, that was a product that was able to be purchased through Snap AV. And I don't know if that's their name anymore, but Lumu is an IP camera device. Very nice. Very simple to set up. Of course, I think the device I got, you could support either 8 or 16 cameras. There was an app that you did not have to configure any firewall rules for, so the people could just go into the app and it had its reverse proxy. So fantastic. So I was going to do that. But then he decided, yeah, I want to do a doorbell too. Can you do that? And normally I would have said, yeah, just have your people do that. But I decided if I'm going to do all of this, I can do cameras through Ubiquiti. I can also do a doorbell through Ubiquiti. And it has the potential of doing door access. And I said, this is a perfect scenario for me to try it out with this guy. Not a big network that I have to worry about. It's not going to be any critical downtime, but it would be a way to go in and try it. So I reached out to a couple of people and said, hey, I'm thinking of Ubiquiti. What do you think? And the people were like, it's about damn time. So
Exactly. So,
here we are. And then to top it off, I started out with the Dream Machine Special Edition. I didn't go Pro, and I didn't go whatever the lower one was. I wanted the SE because it had at least one hard drive bay for the video storage, and it was the cloud key that I did not have to worry about. So I could just connect everything with that. I put it into the Unify Site Manager, and boom, we're up and running, and there we are. So I'm going to go ahead and take a little break there. Jason, tell me what you think so far.
I mean, it sounds like you did a good job. Picked out some good products there. Of course, I helped you a little bit. We won't tell anybody that though. But either way, the products are great products.
Yeah.
And used to, like you mentioned, the cloud key there back in the day and installing it on a computer. I think anybody that kind of does those cloud keys back in the day had a rough time. Nowadays, they're great. We don't use the cloud keys. We use hosted controllers in the cloud for all of our clients. But have no problem with Dream machines. They show right up in the console. You can access those just like you do the cloud controller itself. So we have some people that have those. I mean, I think you did a great job. I mean, the APs, especially with the concrete, we struggle with that sometimes. These buildings, even here in East Tennessee, they like to build with lots of concrete and brick walls, and they add on to buildings that already had a concrete wall and add another one, so you end up with like a foot and a half thick concrete wall. But
Right.
overall, I think it's great products. We've been using them for, I don't know, 10 plus years, maybe a little longer. So
10 years. Get out.
yeah, we've used them since the early days. I do remember, talking about the cloud keys, the cloud key Gen 1 little white looked like a little mini, bigger than a flash drive, but like a mini stick
Right.
plugged
Right.
in. I think we had about 75 of those things out there in the field. And those things are notorious for like messing up. And if you use Ubiquiti back in the day, they're a different company nowadays. So those things are notorious for messing up. They would go offline. You'd have to send a tech on site to get them back online. And then I just got frustrated, so I ended up doing a hosted cloud controller in the cloud. So it's basically the software you install on the computer. It's just on the server in the cloud. And so, you can put thousands of devices on the controller. Makes it really easy, different sites. You manage all your clients from one controller. We actually have 3 controllers and a UNMS controller, or UISP now is what they call it. But for point to points and stuff like that, the AirMax equipment. We do have 3 Ubiquiti controllers in the cloud. We try and divide them up. We have a project controller for all of our big Wi-Fi deployments, hotels, campgrounds, stuff we manage that's not a managed client. Then we have one for we have a mix of stuff. We're trying to get to where we have all of our managed clients on one controller and then the non-managed on the other controller. Not quite there yet, but we're working on that. So, and then a project controller. So we're trying to split them up a little bit so we can do a little bit better monitoring. So,
Right. So let me ask this. So in your journeys, did you ever think of ditching them when you were going through those initial headaches?
ditching them? No, I mean, back in 2020 when the basically the supply chain got really rough, is like really struggling to find some equipment. I've had a few frustrations in the past, so I'm not going to say everything was perfect, but we did have some ups and downs there for a little bit. But I'd say probably the past 3-4 years since COVID, it's they've straightened out the supply chain. They've done a lot of things there to kind of fix all that. So
Right.
I think it's a lot better than it used to be. So
Yeah. One of the reasons that I was also, convinced to go with them is when I saw them being sold through distributors. So my original thought I believe when I bought the 2 access points back then, I just went to the Ubiquiti store and bought them. So when I was going through the list of stuff, I didn't think they were even available. So of course I went to Amazon. Amazon prices were higher than the Ubiquiti store, but I found that both D&H and TD SYNNEX carried Ubiquiti. So I can make a little bit of money. It's not a lot. I mean, you make $5 or $10 per device or whatever. So it's something. So I myself didn't, mark them up too much. I didn't go, over what the Ubiquiti price was, but the fact that, I could get them shipped here, I didn't have to pay for shipping.
Mm.
So it worked out. So that was another thing that convinced me to.
Yeah, I mean, we buy from a distributor, and buying through that distributor, they give you a little bit of discount. I'll say pre-COVID, they give us a huge discount. So we buy from Streakwave is who we buy from. They're a direct distributor for Ubiquiti. So Streakwave's a really great company, and they have kind of a sliding scale on the volume you buy. They'll give you a little bit better discount. So
Yeah.
we were able to do that a little bit. We do buy a little bit from Ubiquiti, but depends on the products and stuff like that. Seems like Ubiquiti here lately, their website has better stock than the distributors, especially for like brand new products. So we do buy some from there. But to be honest, we sell the products for more money than what the website says.
Mhm.
A lot of times people are like worried about like, hey, it's this price online or this price on Amazon. We don't care. So,
Yeah.
it's like we're value adding the product. Most of the customers don't understand, how much this stuff costs. And two, we're the guys programming it, setting it up, bringing it out, deploying it. So, of course we do charge labor for that, but
Yeah.
you got to make a little money on the product if you're going to consult on it, find it, buy it.
Yeah. So I think everything I was able to get, well, I shouldn't say everything. Most of the first part of the order, I got through D&H. I ended up getting, I did not mention, I also got the Viewport, which is a device that you can put behind a TV. And I can hear myself in your speaker, by the way, Jason.
Oh, I apologize.
So it allows you to have a TV or monitor where you can see and view all the cameras. Most of the time, I think people just use it on their app, on their phone and stuff. But he did want it, monitoring. I think he got a 40-inch or something. I didn't see it. He put it up after the fact, but I already tested it in my office. So he'll be able to see all of his cameras and the doorbell camera from inside his shop. When you get to his shop, there's actually a small little office, then a shop, then the open space, and then another thing. He may decide to put another TV all the way in the back, and we'll do another monitor back there. So that'll be cute. So that was one of the things that also helped out. I want to go ahead and answer a couple of these questions in the chat. We were going to do that a little bit later, but some people already have asked. I see Matthew has a question here. What about TP-Link Omada? And I'll be honest, Matt, at least for me, I probably considered TP-Link the same space as Ubiquiti, where it wasn't something that I was going to put into my business clients that were, needing, enterprise type service and stuff. So I don't think there's anything wrong with TP-Link. I just didn't consider that. And I don't know if they had the full infrastructure that Ubiquiti does. I don't know. Do they do cameras and all that stuff?
Yeah, a lot of the TP-Link Omada products I've seen, it's like almost identical copies of Ubiquiti products. I mean, I'm not saying to a T, but a lot of them are really close. Even the controller is fairly close the way it works. The only thing I have a problem with TP-Link Omada, and I used to sell a lot of TP-Link products way back in the day, so I'm not anti-TP-Link by no means. But the only problem I have with them is, the government was trying to ban TP-Link here recently. So if I was starting today, TP-Link's a complete Chinese company. Nothing wrong with anybody in China or even TP-Link themselves, in my opinion. But, the scare of the government ban, if they ban that, then you have all these customers with this hardware that you can't buy any more of, can't really do much with. And then if you have any kind of government clients, those things would have to be taken out. So that's kind of the risk you run in that situation. Like I said, not putting that down by no means. It's just if I was trying to make a decision nowadays, which I love TP-Link products, it's not a problem. But we went with Ubiquiti way back when, before TP-Link Omada was there. So, but
all right. So I did just pull up the Omada website, and it looks like they do switches, hardware access points. But again, the reason I chose Ubiquiti here is because of the fact that it did the cameras, it did the door systems, had the ability to do the access, the door access. It sounds like Ubiquiti is also coming out with an alarm product here pretty soon. So for small offices to be able to do everything in one package, that was the reason I went with that.
Yeah, they do a
And
lot of stuff too with the door access control. So they have all that door access control stuff that we've done a lot of. The cameras, I mean, the cameras are second to none on the capabilities with all the AI detections and everything that they do, especially the new G6 cameras.
yeah,
And the app just works great. We think we got 22 cameras on our building there, TP-Link, so we have those on TVs and stuff in our office to kind of watch, our front lobby or our parking lot and stuff like that. And so that way somebody can jump up and help them out, so.
yeah. My cable guy, he's the one that actually, not when he runs the cable, he actually mounts the cameras and access points and stuff for me. So when we were going through and testing them after he did that and stuff, he was looking at them. The G6 bullet cams, for everybody's point of view, they are 4K cameras.
Mhm.
So the picture is super clear,
Yep.
and they do the motion detection fantastic. We actually have to make some adjustments because the front camera of his office oversees the street as
Mhm.
well. And so anytime somebody in a bicycle or whatever rides by and walks by, we have it set to record on motion. So he's getting all of that. So he's like, how can we, dial that back a bit? I'm like, I don't know. I'll look it up.
Yeah, actually in the app it's got a like you can pull up the camera and you can actually block out parts of the view. Like you don't have to move the camera at all. You can block out parts of the view to where you can actually, say don't get this part of the picture for, those motion or those people or the vehicle
Right.
detection. So it's pretty neat. So
I don't know if we'll be able to do it there because literally it's, it's a whole thing there. And we do want it to be able to, when a vehicle pulls into his parking spots, we want that to be detected. He's got a gate. And so when cars come in and stuff, and it's actually double coverage because the door cam actually gets the whole front, for people that know. So it's the, what's it called? It's called the U4, G4 door cam.
Mhm.
So you can have it just act as a camera and it can detect motion as people walk by so that if people don't even hit the doorbell, that somebody was there. And it's got a camera at the bottom so that if somebody leaves a package at your door, you can see that as well. So that was pretty cool.
Yeah.
Let me see here before we get too far along. There's a question here. What about Juniper access points? I'll be honest. I've never considered Juniper. Juniper has been a higher enterprise type thing for me. And once I got to Ruckus access points, I didn't really think of anything else. My step down from Ruckus is basically Datto until I come up with something else where my customers don't want to pay for the monthly support through Datto, but Datto is my step down from that, which used to be Open Mesh.
Yep.
Because Datto purchased Open Mesh, and those were pretty good. So for my customers that don't need a ton of performance, don't have high traffic areas and stuff, Datto works fine. But anybody that needs to have good quality, I've gotten Ruckus.
Yeah. I think Ubiquiti nowadays, I mean, many years ago wasn't so great on like competing with these high end access points and stuff like that, like a Juniper or Cisco or whatever. My opinion nowadays is if you buy the right access point. So Ubiquiti's like any person out there, whether it's HP or Ruckus or anybody. I think you can buy the low end U6 lights or U7s or whatever. If you buy the low end stuff, it's home grade, it's consumer, prosumer, whatever you want to call it. We never ever install a light AP. I think that's like that's reserved for your house. I wouldn't even put it in my house, but that's reserved for your house or something like that. But we buy higher end APs. We buy at least the pros or the enterprise. So I think if you go on up in the levels of APs, Now they got some into UXGs. Those things are pretty high end. The new U7 UXGs. So those are pretty awesome APs themselves. So I think as long as you buy a good AP, you do great with it.
Yeah.
And we've probably got close to, I don't know, probably 3,500, 4,000 devices deployed. One of our larger networks, people always say, well, they can't handle large networks. We've got almost 180 APs deployed at one customer. It's across the VA campus, and they got about 20 different buildings. We got hospitals. We've got, nursing home, all that good stuff. It's all on one campus for the VA. And we got a 10 gig internet connection coming in that place. And we got 14 IDFs throughout the campus, and it's 100% Ubiquiti. So, I wouldn't buy the low end switches. You'd have to buy the higher end switches, like the pros or higher.
Yeah.
In order to do stuff like that.
So I did put in the, I put in a Pro Max PoE switch.
Yep.
To give out all the stuff there. And the access points, I put in the U7 Pro and a U7 Pro Outdoor.
Yep. So you're picking good stuff. So
that's what I did there. Let's see. The other question that came in from Matt. I love UISP, but the VLAN in Ubiquiti is not great. I'll be honest, we're not doing VLANs with this client because, again, it's just for the one person. So I'm going to leave that as a flat network. But Jason, your experience with the VLANs?
We do quite a bit of VLANs. I mean, I've never had any issues with them. Our network guys, network engineers have never had any issues. So I really don't know what he means by that. I mean, maybe everybody's experience is different, but as far as VLANs, I mean, that one customer, I think we have about 18 VLANs at that one customer. Typically, we have 2-3 VLANs per customer, guest network and private network, VoIP network, something like that. It's kind of our typical deployment. But either way, I think it's, I've not had any issues with them. So right. I don't know, maybe he can elaborate on that or something. So.
All right. And then he asked the question, have you tried Ubiquiti NAS? Now, I did not have this conversation with you, but I did have with a gentleman in my peer group who asked me about, if I was going to consider a NAS for that. And for this customer, no. Again, it's just the one person. He'll have a workstation and then tablets for other stuff. When I did look at it, it looks pretty basic to me, I'll be honest. And since I decided to go Synology years ago, the Synology ecosystem is... I have not found anything close to that. And I've even began to use the enterprise level, the higher end stuff for my law firms where I forget what the name is, the SA 3600, those types of things that I put in for file servers for 100 plus people. The backup systems, we're doing Hyper-V backups and then whatever the other backup is, the active backup, we're doing stuff to that. So Synology, to be honest with you, has worked. And if you buy, if you size it right, don't buy the low end stuff for business clients and stuff. It's been fantastic. The Ubiquiti NAS, from what I could tell, was pretty much just storage. I mean, there wasn't a whole ecosystem of other apps. Oh, the other thing with Synology, I can run my Domos off of it. You can do virtual machines off of it. I've got one client where I'm running a virtual server off of the, I think it's the 1621 XS Plus or something. So it's not, not one of the big ones, but it's enough for this client. They have 5 stations, and I'm running their SQL server, their application SQL server off of that Synology NAS. So I didn't see where we could do that with the Ubiquiti stuff.
No, I actually have one in our rack at our office, and we got fully populated. It's a great NAS. It is basic compared to Synology. I'll tell you, Synology is definitely king. But if you live in the Ubiquiti world and you just need storage, you don't need all those other things. It's a decent price NAS. We haven't deployed them at any customers yet. We use it internally when we do clones or backups or just storing some data. Basically, customer use is what it's really for: storing customer data, moving things around, restoring backups, all that good stuff. But we use a little bit of internal storage for our tech tools and all that stuff. It's segregated on there into another username, password, or whatever. But the way it divides up usernames and passwords, the remote access is pretty good. I'm not going to say it's definitely not a Synology NAS by no means. If you had a customer that just needed basic storage, I think it's good for that. But Synology is definitely king. So,
All right. Well, let's take a quick break here, and when we come back, I'm actually going to pull up my dashboard so we can talk about some stuff there. You can give me some pointers, and we'll answer some more questions. And we'll be right back after this. Is your business truly protected from cyber threats? ThreatLocker is the gold standard. Zero trust endpoint protection, trusted by IT professionals everywhere. ThreatLocker blocks everything that is not explicitly trusted, denying all applications and scripts from running unless explicitly allowed, and that includes ransomware. Easy to deploy, easy to manage, and backed by a 24/7 support team that is lightning fast with response times around 60 seconds. Stop cyber attacks before they start and sleep easier at night. Click on the ThreatLocker link in the show notes and start your free 30-day trial today. Lock down your endpoints and say goodbye to ransomware. Be sure to also check out our other amazing sponsors, NetAlly, LionGuard, TrueGrid, BVoIP, Rhythms, and Designer Ready. For more details on these partners and their exclusive offers, check out their links in the show notes or visit itbusinesspodcast.com/sponsors. And a special thanks to our incredible listener supporters whose monthly contributions help keep this show running strong. I truly appreciate each and every one of you for being the backbone of the IT Business Podcast. Holla. All right. So I saw a couple more things. So Matt did reiterate a little bit what he was talking about. He had issues with MDNS working in VLAN when using FortiGate or Sophos with Ubiquiti switches.
Yeah,
I will say this, now that I've looked at the Ubiquiti line, I probably would not introduce anything else into it unless it was in tandem. Mainly because I probably would be doing, the UDMs, as they say in the link. So I'd probably be doing a Dream Machine SE or a UDM Pro. But I don't know. I haven't even done VLANs in Ubiquiti, so I can't speak to that at all.
Yeah, the multicast DNS on the lower Ubiquiti stuff, multicast is not great. They've come up with some better technology on the higher end switches. It seems to work a little bit better with multicast. I don't do a lot of multicast, so I can't really speak to that too much. But as far as like hooking the Ubiquitis up, our standard stack for our customers is, of course, we're a SonicWall shop, so we do SonicWalls, and then we have all Ubiquiti switchgear and APs. The only time we really do the Ubiquiti firewalls, routers, Dream Machines, we actually use the UXG Pro is what we use, because it's kind of like a Dream Machine, but it connects to the cloud controller directly, whereas a Dream Machine is its own cloud controller. So we use the UXG Pros, and we use some of the Maxes, UXG Max, UXG Lite. Those are, of course, for smaller clients, but that network I was telling you earlier about, the what's 200 devices and 180 APs is running off a UXG Pro, and it's not even breaking a sweat. But for the most part, SonicWalls is what we do, and it's easy to set up the VLANs, and they talk fine, have no issues. VLANs are super easy to set up on Ubiquiti too. So,
yeah. All right, I said I'd bring up my dashboard, and this client, I do have their permission to do this, so I'm not giving away any trade secrets, and unless you got a big TV, this might be a little difficult there, but I do like the fact that when you get into the site manager and pull them up, you're immediately presented with a summary of everything, including the little bar down here that talks about your internet connectivity. And one of the people that I spoke with said that this is one of those devices that it'll tell you whether you have crappy internet or not. So even though this is an AT&T connection, it should be better than this, but I'm going to have to call AT&T and let them know that we should not be seeing this latency that's happening here. The average latency at this time was 161 milliseconds. It actually maxed out at 199. That's pretty high for a UVerse ABF. It's their business fiber that's not dedicated, but it should be a lot better than this. So that is something to look at. And of course, you've got a summary of all your devices that goes along top there. And then, of course, down here, you've got your top access points, your top client, and then your top apps. I like what I saw where it basically is tracking all the web traffic, and it does a pretty decent job of telling you where you guys have gone in terms of Google, iCloud, Outlook.com, Apple.com, better than some of the web protection and DNS products that I've been using. So, Jason, anything about those?
Yeah, it works pretty good. Haven't had too many issues. They don't really have they have introduced recently a content filtering where you can filter out, like, it's got a couple of presets. But their big claim to fame is where you see all these different apps. You can do app-based filtering. So you can say block Dropbox or throttle Dropbox. We do a co-working space that has a Dream Machine Max in it, and so Dropbox was killing their internet connection because they have like 30 people using Dropbox all uploading at the same time and downloading at the same time. So we ended up throttling Dropbox back to like 20 meg or something a piece, so they wouldn't kill the connection. So it's got some really good rules. It's no SonicWall as far as like some of your security stuff,
right?
And I can't really speak to their new proof point security stuff they've put in there because I haven't used it. So
yeah, I thought about getting that, but I didn't for this client. Maybe we'll add it later, or maybe I'll do it for another client. The other thing that looks nice, your topology map. Again, now, granted, everything was Ubiquiti, so I expected to identify everything, but has a nice little map there, and you can actually drill down into each device. Has a little flyover thing on the sides. You can look at all that.
And I like if you click the little box in the top left-hand corner, you can turn on like
You can turn it
connection speed and all the good stuff there. We can see everything, so you can see what.
Which one in the left corner here?
Yeah.
Oh, I can turn on SSID channels.
Yep. If you put on the STP, you can see what that's set to. You can turn on, like it should show you, hit the speed icon there, the speed checkbox rather. And then hit the wired icon, or checkbox rather, sorry.
The wired up top?
Checkbox right below speed.
Oh, that one.
There you go. And then if you look there, now it says like that first camera says it shows it's plugged into port 9. It's connected with fast Ethernet, so 100 meg for some reason. And then your next one over is on port 15, connected at gigabit speed, so you can see all that. So
all the cameras I think are 100 only.
Oh yeah, that's correct. Yeah, you're right. So they're 100 meg. But it gives you all the different stuff. It tells you what
the viewport is gigabit.
What's that?
But the viewport is gigabit.
Oh yeah, for sure. So.
And the doorbell, let's see, that's running at gigabit also. So, all right, so that was there. And then, of course, you can see the devices all in one screen, your IP address, your uplinks. So you can tell your Wi-Fi stuff here, how many devices are connected, what your experience is. Oh, pretty nice.
Yeah, I like if you, I don't know if you got an access point there you can click on, but it'll show you, you don't have any clients on them, so it may not show. Yeah. But if you click on there, that's a switch. You have an access point to click on?
Yeah, right. Pro 7.
You click on the parent device there. There you go. There you go. So it'll show you like your transmit and retries.
Yep.
And so a lot of times you can kind of diagnose an AP. You can kind of see there's a few, it's hard to see on the screen, but it looks like a few yellow and red lines there. You can kind of look at the transmits and retries. And if you got a lot of interference in the air, you change channels, things like that. So,
Yep. All pretty good there. And then you've got your insights as well, your history, and then your settings. You can actually change the settings here. So this is all pretty cool.
Yeah.
Oh,
See,
I mentioned
a lot of people failed to change your settings, like on yours there. If you scroll back up on your 5 gigahertz band, you're only like 40 hertz channel width. If there's not a lot of interference around, you can bump that up and get a lot faster speed. One of the things I like to do is tell it to, basically band steering to steer to 5 gigahertz. So that way devices won't connect to 2.4. Most devices won't really do that nowadays anyways, but you can band steer to 5 gigahertz or 6 gigahertz. So.
Pretty cool there.
Yeah.
The other stuff, so if there were clients connected, so it's like there were 2 Apple devices in the past. And your ports, you can see what device is on what port. This is my Pro Max 16.
Mm-hmm. And the port functionality is really good because, like, we'll come in here and click on, like, if we're having somebody complain about a VoIP phone or something like that, you can just come click on the port and tell it to power cycle that port. I mean, it's so simple to use. You know what I'm saying? It's, you don't have to be, highly trained network engineer to do this. Our help desk guys are jumping in all the time, doing things like this, power cycling ports, restarting equipment, whatever it takes. So.
There was a question in the chat from another Jason. Any issues with guest networks and the login options for customer sites?
Mm-hmm.
So I can, the only thing I can talk to, I did set up a guest Wi-Fi network, and I just turned on the unified guest hotspot. So literally all they do is click on the guest network in their settings. The browser window pops open and it just says, hey, you're logging into Unify, click OK, and they're on. So that was pretty simple.
We've done some hotels and stuff with the Wi-Fi where they have to have, voucher codes or whatever. And we've set all that up in here. It works really well. The one trick is it has to have access to the controller. So, like in a Dream machine, the cloud key controller is in the machine itself. Most of our stuff we host in the cloud. So, like, if it can't reach that controller in the cloud to authenticate, then it won't, can't authenticate. So we don't usually have any kind of problems with that. Our controllers are really reliable, but it is one of the kind of requirements. It has to talk to the controller to validate the PIN number. But it has some HTML. As long as you can do HTML coding, you can change up the screen, make it look cool. Like we done one for Comfort Inn, and so we made a really cool image and all that good stuff, and put their terms and agreements and all that stuff on there. And they have a login to where they get voucher codes and they print them at the front desk and hand them to put them in a little key card holder when they hand them to guest. So it works really well. I haven't really had any issues there. Used a third-party program called Beambox.
I looked at them.
Yeah, so they do a really good job with grabbing a lot of information. So if you're wanting to market with people using your Wi-Fi, like we helped, like in our area, we got Gatlinburg. A lot of people know where that's at. Pigeon Forge. So it's a touristy area with lots of arcades and go-kart tracks and all kinds of attractions. So we've helped out a company set that up for gathering some information so they can see. You can do Facebook connection, do this or that, Instagram. So it makes it where you can male, female, all kinds of crazy information to help targeting your ads. So,
and as you can see, internet connection here. I always talk about it, folks. Usually it's Comcastic, but even AT&T has issues. So we just lost connection. I had to get back in here. So there we have it there. Another question came up. How is the DPI and IPS and Ubiquiti firewall? I'll be honest, not great. Is that a nice way to put it, Jason?
It's okay. It's not a SonicWall, that's for sure.
Right.
So it's okay. If you purchase the CyberSecure, the proof point thing, it gets better, but it's not. I'm not used that, so I can't attest to the proof point thing. But they have a lot more protections there. But yeah, the IPS IDS is it's okay. I mean, I would not use. I mean, my stance is I would not use a Ubiquiti router firewall in a managed client, unless you had some sort of SASE solution or something like that on top of it. I mean, but SonicWalls are kind of our standard, so I know you use SonicWall too. So
yeah, this is something where I'll be honest. I'm after putting this in place, seeing how easy it is, seeing how nice it is. I still don't see myself putting this in some of my law firm clients and stuff like that. So,
yeah.
I mean, that might change, but
yeah. So we use them a lot in non-managed clients and stuff like the hotels and the campgrounds and all that good stuff, or churches that we're not managing. I mean, like all kinds of places like that. We use a lot of this stuff, but if they're fully managed, they get SonicWall. So
yeah. But there's a lot of nice settings in here. Again, for your clients that don't need a ton of security, don't need a lot of complexity, this is a nice all-in-one system. So you can do encrypted DNS here. You can do a honeypot.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know why you would, but there's a lot of options in here. So
yeah, and it's even got you can dump like this. Like we use a SOC, Security Operations Center. So Ubiquiti, you can even turn on a feature to dump all the logging to a SOC. So it really, they got some good security features in there. It's just not. We've had internal discussions like it's so easy. It's easy to use. It's cost effective. It's like, should we switch to that or keep SonicWalls? And our guys have been back and forth, and some of the guys like them, some of the guys don't. And I'm like, I always default to security. So yeah. That's kind of us. So.
And so that's where I'm going to leave my opinion right now. I do not see this as a solution that I would use in my, security conscious or performance conscious clients. So it's going to be my smaller clients where I can do an all-in-one, especially if they want to run cameras and door access and stuff like that. And I could do it all from one console. I don't know if I would do what you guys do, where I would put in networks without a Dream Machine, because I'll be honest, I still don't like this whole cloud controller thing. I don't want my network to depend on the cloud, but I may be wrong, and obviously people are doing it. That's my preference.
Yeah. I think the ease of use and the ability to take care of customer problems super quick, having our own hosted controllers, it's right there at your fingertips. Of course, do all the normal security stuff to protect that. But it's right there at your fingertips. You can log in. You can have access to all your customers' networks in one place. So it makes it super easy to make changes. It makes it easy to do monitoring. Like we have some auto ticket creation. Send over tickets if there's devices offline, things like that. So,
yeah. So obviously, Ubiquiti has come a long way, folks. It has the centralized, management, whether you do the cloud controller, or even you just use something with the site manager stuff on it. I think the biggest thing that it has going for it is that there's no ongoing licensing fees. I know I mentioned Datto, and I don't want to say it to yell at me or anything, but paying monthly for switches and access points, some customers don't want to do. So being able to put this in there is a way to do that. It is affordable. It is scalable. And at least it feels like they are doing some rapid innovation. So a lot of this stuff has come along, I think, in just the last few years. So I think you mentioned since COVID, I think a lot of these things have really, come to play. One of the things that I did like about it as I was setting it up, literally, if you stuck your Ubiquiti device on the network, it would recognize it and say, hey, here's an access point. Do you want to adopt it? Just click yes. Boom. Done. I mean, so much easier than some of the other products that we work with.
Yeah, software-defined networking. So if you have a cloud controller, since we have 3 controllers, we have a setting in our SonicWall that we change for each controller. So, and you can still plug in your network and adopt it on your cloud controller, even though without a Dream Machine or router or anything like that. So we have a programming station switch, whatever, like 24-port switch. We plug devices in to pre-program before we go online. We log in the SonicWall, flip the switch, the which controller we want to go to, and it just automatically detects and adopt. So we do all that stuff before we leave too. So,
all right, are you doing Ubiquiti switches in all your clients?
Yep. Okay. Yeah, we're fully Ubiquiti for all switches, access points, all that stuff. So,
and then SonicWall for the firewall.
Yep, SonicWall for any managed client that's that's their firewall. If, like I said, other non-managed break-fix clients, we only do business only, so we don't do any residential. But for any businesses that are not managed, sometimes SonicWall is a little bit out of their price range and ongoing subscription renewals, and they may not want all the security that comes with it. So, these routers are great. I mean, I have no issues with them.
All right. If there's any other questions that you guys are thinking of in the chat live, now would be the time, because we're getting ready to end off the show here. And we've got a Florida man story. And I think Jason has a Tennessee man story that he'd like to get out there. But just to wrap up, I mentioned all the things that Ubiquiti has going for it. It's going to be a part of my stack. And I think if you are, a business first service provider, whether you're a managed service provider or not, Ubiquiti is something that needs to be taken a look at. And the other reason that I decided to do it, so I do have a customer, I shouldn't say customer, I have a prospect that I went to go visit a couple of weeks back, and they have a Ubiquiti network. So that was another reason I said, you know what, I need to, make myself familiar with this. Ubiquiti is something that consumers can go and just get themselves, which is something that we don't like. But if they do and they need help with it, we don't have to turn them away and say, get that crap out of there, let's put in our stuff. I can now walk into a Ubiquiti site and say, yeah, we can manage that. So that was the other reason there. All right. Pull up my story here. Jason, how's you want to say your Tennessee man story?
Say just the title? Is that what you want? Like a teaser?
Yeah, tell me the title. Let's see which goes first.
So here locally in Tennessee, Johnson City specifically, we have a local credit union called Eastman Credit Union. So it's their pun or their phrase is ECU beside you. Recently, as a teaser here, all over the internet, right after the Coldplay thing, it started ECU inside you. So I'll leave it there, and then I can tell you more in a second. So.
Okay.
So.
All right. So mine was a gentleman that was arrested for capturing and beating an alligator while playing golf.
Wow.
So a Leesburg man named Hunter Crumbo, who's only 28 years old, was arrested after beating an alligator with a golf club that he caught from a canal in Lake County, Florida. So according to reports, he caught the alligator because a fishing lure got stuck in its mouth. Then he proceeded to beat the alligator to death with a club. Witnesses described the scene as gruesome, with the mutilated alligator's carcass later being found in a neighbor's backyard. So this goes a little bit beyond animal cruelty. While alligators are partially protected, you can't just hunt alligators, you can't kill them, stuff like that. So it is a third-degree felony in Florida to kill or injure an alligator without authority. So you do have to be licensed, which is why we have thousands of licensed alligator hunters here. And of course, this guy has a criminal history with past arrests for domestic violence. So it's not lost on the fact that he likes to hit things. And then he was driving with a revoked license due to DUI. So I don't know how he got to the golf course or why he was there, but there you go.
That's fun. That's fun. It must have been an important fishing lure. He needed it back.
Must have.
So, yeah. So the Tennessee Eastman Credit Union story. A few weeks ago, here locally in one of our credit union branches, somebody, of course, had out a camera phone taking a video of the act here. So it was passed around all over Facebook and all kinds of memes, of course. But basically, one of the people that work at the credit union, they have, it's a nice office. They're always super nice, high end looking. So all the offices have, frosted glass on all the offices. So the person taking the video, of course, they know what's going on. So basically, one of the workers and then some unidentified guy or man were in this office, and of course, started off with, it's frosted glass. I'm like sitting here thinking, what are they thinking? It's like if you turn and look out the glass and you can see people, they can see you. Okay, that's where we're starting off first. But the lady proceeded to, start off to arouse the guy by putting her hand in his pants. And
Nice.
yeah, and this is in a credit union with people in the lobby, and this is directly in the lobby, like the glass. And so then that wasn't enough. So she decided to turn around and drop her pants, and they were just going at it, in the credit union with the pants dropped, and right there in the credit union in the office. And I guess they think frosted glass you can't see through. I don't know, but you could see everything clear as day. The memes went around. Of course, the credit union, they put out a statement, apologized. It's not what they condone or anything like that. So the company is actually a really great credit union, but obviously this worker was, had something going on that day, I guess. And
Listen,
yeah,
everybody
so
wants their Coldplay challenge now, right?
no. I mean, there's all kinds of memes going on. Like, it's like, no wonder it takes a long time to get loans, or man, what do these loans cost nowadays? Or, what I'm saying? I mean, it just went on down a rabbit hole. It was all kinds of memes, but it's funny. So,
Yeah, that sounds like a Florida story,
yeah.
but Tennessee. All right. Well, Jason, thank you very much for stepping up and coming on the show. I do want to say this. I've been trying to get you on for a while because most people probably don't realize that Designer Ready, one of the sponsors of the show, is actually a part of Unbound Digital, right?
It is. Yeah. So Designer Ready is our white label website design company that does MSP friendly billing, MSP websites for their customers. So we do flat monthly fees for the websites, which is kind of like where we can build the website on a monthly fee instead of like thousands of dollars up front. Starts down there pretty low, depending on what kind of website you want. And then that, you can white label or co-brand. So a lot of people, we started a website design division, and then just kind of had this idea of doing white label websites for other people. We help out several MSPs, quite a few across the country. We had one just sign up the other day. We're taking over out of Georgia. We're taking over 30 some websites of his, and then building 12 new ones. So, it works out really well. So.
All right. Well, we are going to have you back on at some point where we'll talk just about Designer Ready and get all that, but thought I should mention that for people out there. Thank you very much also for your assistance with the Ubiquiti advice when I did my first reach out. Went good so far, and maybe we'll do a couple of more deployments. I'm going to see if I can get my law firm with 2 locations and 50 people, see if I can make that work there. And then I can get to use that, what is it called? Site Magic VPN?
Oh, yeah.
We'll see.
It actually works really well. I don't know if you ever use Meraki, but we have a few Meraki deployments, but it's like click this site, boom, they're connected. I mean, it's
Nice.
that easy to do a VPN.
Okay. All right. Well, that's going to do it, folks. Thank you all for being here, especially the folks in the chat. Thank you very much for watching and asking questions. If you're watching after the fact, you can still submit comments and stuff either on the social media sites that these are playing, or you can send us an email through the itbusinesspodcast.com website. I encourage you to do that. And of course, if you are not a regular to the show, You can watch us here on the social medias, or you can find us in your favorite podcatcher. Just head over to the website and find your little preferred player. We're on all of them, I think. And you can follow us, unlike Jason, who is still trying to catch up on shows.
Just a little bit. Just a little bit. I listen to them all the time. You just put to me out.
But a lot of content. There's a lot of stuff happening, so I like to keep up with it. We will be back next week. Paco LeBron, the CEO of MSP Owners Group, I think that's his title. Also the host of the MSP Unplugged podcast. What's the MSP Unplugged Facebook group?
MSP Unplugged.
And owner of Prodigy Techs. So he'll be on next week. We'll talk about all of that stuff. We'll probably talk about ChannelCon since I did not go and all of that. And that's going to do it. So thank you all for tuning in. We'll see you next time. And until then, holla.